Welcome into the WCS Coaches Show. I'm Patrick Whitlock, your District Athletic Director. We are previewing tonight's matchup between East Hickman and the Fairview Yellow Jackets. Today I have with me Fairview head coach Chris Hughes and senior lineman and linebacker Jack Rude. Fellas, welcome into the show.
Thank you.
Good deal. Glad you're here. All right, so big matchup tonight against East Hickman, kicking off the 2025 campaign. Before we get to that, let's talk about your prep for the season. First of all, I want to talk a little bit about Fairview, the school on the western side of the county. A little bit of an outlier because of the location and things like that, a little bit smaller school. Coach, we'll start with you. What makes Fairview unique in terms of the Williamson County footprint?
I think that's what makes it unique is it's a little more rural area, although that's changing quickly. But it is a smaller community, but it's got that hometown feel like a small city where everyone rallies around the football program, the schools. I mean, the school has great support in the community, and it's just one of those places, like I always tell people that it's the best secret in Williamson County, but the secret keeps getting out and more people are moving in. But I grew up there, so it's changed a lot from the time that I went to school and I graduated in '85. But Fairview has that hometown, small town feel, and on Friday nights, everything shuts down and everybody's at the game watching football like in the old days.
Kind of that old school movie feel, you know,
Yes.
You watch these old movies, everybody rallies around it.
Mm-hmm.
Jack, if you were trying to talk to, like, let's say a middle schooler at Fairview Middle, what would you talk about that makes being a Yellow Jacket unique and fun?
I would really say it's a sense of family, really, with the Yellow Jackets. We have really good culture when it comes to, like, we're connected in the locker room. We see each other all day in class. We see each other outside school. It's just real hometown family football.
Gotta love that. So let's talk a little bit about your football team. So I was over at Fairview Middle this week. I got to talk to athletic director Joe Brown, and he talked about the success of your incoming freshman class. About they were pretty dominant at the middle school level. Before we get to the upperclassmen, let's talk a little bit about that freshman class and what you're going to expect out of them. And I imagine, being a little bit smaller school, some of those kids are going to fill in and play in the bright lights on Friday nights.
I love our freshman class. I feel like that class coming, they were really successful last year at the middle school, and some of them will contribute right away. Like we have one or two that are starting, which is crazy for a freshman to be able to start on a varsity level. One of our linebackers is a freshman, so that's a big role, and we'll see how he does tonight. But the overall talent in that grade is really it's special, and the grade in front of them was pretty special too. And then this class that's coming, I think Jack's class when they were middle school, they were very dominant too. So I think we've had some good dominant teams that have come through middle school, and then we're getting to the point where that's starting to shape into our program is going to have a good run in the next 4 or 5 years.
Now, Jack, we don't get to talk about freshmen very often on the show. They're usually kind of an afterthought, right? But as you've been in heat of, July workouts and now 3 weeks of practice, any freshmen that kind of stand out? Now, keep in mind, this will be a big deal, any names you throw out there, so they're going to owe you.
Yeah. So like Coach Hughes said, our linebacker, Julius, he's special. He's a big kid. He's athletic. He listens, too. He's coachable. And I would say some athletes like Trace and Giles, they're both athletic, they're talented, a little maturing, but they're doing great for their age and where they are right now.
Awesome. All right, let's talk a little bit about scheduling. When I was looking through your schedule last year, you guys stepped out and you played a 6A team in Independence. I know all the focus is on tonight's game against East Hickman, but next week you're traveling to 5A Centennial. That not a lot of 3A coaches, I think, would be willing to step out in that realm and play some of those teams. What's your thought process behind scheduling games like that?
Well, being part of Williamson County, I always try to schedule at least one team in the county. We had a big rivalry with Page for a long time, Battle of 840, and Page has gotten to a level to where we can't compete at the same level right now. Page has been in the state championship. They're a 5A powerhouse. It probably wouldn't help us or them. So then I looked for other teams, and we scheduled Independence, and we got beat. But we've played Ravenwood. We've played just about everybody in the county. I haven't played Brentwood yet. I'm trying to get Franklin. So I like to go 2-year cycle and then switch it up and play someone different, so our kids get a taste of that 6A, 5A, Friday night. And I think Centennial was a no-brainer because Coach Stewart was there when I scheduled the game, and Coach Graham was there. But a lot of my kids and the Centennial kids played junior pro together. So it's kind of going to be a little like a civil war. It's going to be some cousins playing against each other and that kind of thing. So next week, Friday, is going to be really exciting for them. And honestly, non-region games don't affect anything that goes on. It's just to make you better. So playing a bigger school that's got a little more talent, a lot more players, does nothing but get us ready for the playoffs.
No doubt. Jack, you like playing those bigger schools? Big challenge?
Yes, sir. Especially like last year with Independence, I think it was their whiteout game, and that was a fun game to be at. We played our hearts out too. It's a lot of fun playing the bigger schools because you're kind of the underdog. You got a lot to prove.
No doubt. So, Coach, last year, 4-7 season. I think it's safe to say by your standards, probably a little bit of a disappointment. Went through a lot of adversity, had a lot of injuries. You talked about at Media Day as a staff, you guys have kind of changed your approach a little bit this year. Let's speak to that and how things have been different in this campaign. So
well, for one, it was our first losing season and since I've been there. And it was hard at home. My wife said it can't happen again because she can't deal with me. So I basically went back to look at what happened. Why did we? Because we had way too much talent. We were better than a 4-7 team. We got beat by touchdown in the playoffs by a team that went to the third round, and we had so many chances. And in the past, we always found ways to win games at the end, and last year it felt like we found ways to lose them. So it was one of those things where we got into a little bit of a rut, and losing our quarterback the first week, and then it just spiraled after that. Like everything that could go wrong went wrong. Injuries, discipline, like a lot of things. The culture even changed a little bit. It didn't feel good. And so I went and looked and saw, with 13 starters that we lost significant time, almost 90% of that happened at practice. So I was like, well, how can we not beat each other up to where we're good and healthy on Friday? So we went to some clinics, talked to Ravenwood, talked to Hester, talked to Josh. Josh Crouch at Green Hills was one of the main people that I leaned on, and he's a young coach who's really good and does things differently. And we just scaled back how much contact we did, and we do everything at a lot faster pace. So we're not practicing 2 hours, we're going an hour and a half, but nobody's standing still. They are running nonstop. We are conditioned, I feel like, and we've been working hard, and I want to see how this goes, but we are trying to keep our kids healthy and fresh for Friday and make them hungry to put the pads on and go hit people. So, again, when you go 4-7, and you just come back the next year and do the same thing, I think that's great. It hurt me so bad that I'm like, what can I do to fix this? I can't let it happen again. So the good thing is that these guys have bought in, and the proof will be tonight. Let's see how things happen tonight. Let's see if things work that way. And if it doesn't work this year, we'll find something else. I'll keep working until it makes it work.
No doubt. So, Jack, when they came to Media Day, the three players there, I think the most impressive thing was like the camaraderie amongst those three. You could tell, and it seemed very genuine, that those guys really care about each other. Speak a little bit about your team's culture, as Coach mentioned it right there, and what are maybe some differences with your senior class versus the one that was before you?
So I feel like a big thing that our senior class is focused on this year is a good mindset in the locker room. We don't really get hung up on things, and if we do, we sort it out quickly. In the weight room, we're surrounding each other, we're hyping everyone up, and we're kind of like building. Fairview football is about family, and it's about camaraderie, and we're trying to bring that back. We're trying to make that a mainstay. Good
deal. So
one of those guys with his brother, so he's pretty tight with that guy.
Yeah, you got to be tight with him.
Right.
For sure. So as I was researching before Media Day, I came across the Tennessean poll where it picked all the regions in the Mid-State. It picked you guys to come out number one in your region. I believe Sycamore and Camden were kind of right there, probably the two likely contenders. Coach, is that a blessing or a curse?
They always do that. I would say that they're worth about what the paper they're on is probably worth more than the opinion. But at the same time, to me, when you look at those people, like we don't know what Ravenwood has right now, but because of the history of their program, you would always pick them to be really good. So because of the past teams, and I tell my kids this all the time, me and these guys, we're living on their coattails. A preseason poll is based on what has happened in the past, not what's happening in the future. Guess what we were picked to do last year? Win the region. That didn't happen. So being picked again, That means the coaches respect our program and what we're doing, and I like that. It makes me feel good. I'm happy for that. But at the same time, it puts the target on your back. So these guys have got to make sure that we do that. But another thing we're really excited about is our goal is always to win a state championship, and we have a path now where we think we can get there. And we have to play well. We have to win the region. So it's in steps. Starts tonight, BD Hickman, but then we have to win our region games, win the playoff games, and keep going there. So we got one goal each week, and we got to keep working until we get to that final game.
Again, Jack, it's one game at a time, right? But
Yes, sir.
let's talk about like winning a region championship as a senior. What would that mean to you?
It'd mean everything to me. This is my last chance to play football that I know of. And I would love to go out and win a region, win some playoff games, and really go out with a bang.
Yes, I mean, I know that's really not the ultimate goal. Region championship's nice, but winning in November is even nicer. Getting to have that Thursday practice on Thanksgiving Day potentially, and leading into that would be something special.
We've made it 3 times to the round before that. We've never practiced on Thanksgiving, so that's a huge goal for our program is to be able to practice on Thanksgiving. I'll buy the turkey.
Yeah, no doubt. Good problem to have, right?
I'm either going to be the turkey or buy the turkey, one or the other. So.
I don't think the parents would be too upset with letting their kids go on Thanksgiving morning. So, Coach, now you got one of your senior leaders here. Give us a little background on Jack and what he means to the program.
Jack is a hard worker, does things the right way, very good at student, very good in class, and he plays with a lot of edge. He's not the biggest guy that we've got on team, but he's got as much fight in him as anybody I've got on team. In fact, I just yelled at him at practice yesterday. Sometimes he has a little too much fight with his teammates, but you need that on Friday. You need somebody like Jack who can enforce things. And Jack and a couple other kids we've got like Will, if you saw them in school and saw how mild-mannered and nice they are, and then you see them on Friday nights, you wouldn't think it was the same kid. So they have the ability to cut it on and cut it off. And that I really like, because here's the thing. I know Jack's going to be real successful whatever he does, wherever he goes. And what I want him to do is look back at football and say, man, that was a great experience at Fairview. And I don't want him to have any regrets. So he's a good kid and he's got a good family. And super happy that him and his brother are here. And that little group that they have, that camaraderie, they kind of built that together. That wasn't anything that we did or imposed on them. They did it together. So that senior class has big plans. And they know to get there, they're going to have each other. And Jack's a big part of that.
So, Jack, Coach Hughes been there. You're 18, right? 17 straight playoff appearances, which is an incredible number, regardless of how you look at it. Also, I think probably the most engaging coach in Williamson County when it comes to the media. I don't know, maybe some other people would want to debate that a little bit. Seems like a guy that I would want to play for. Tell me what's unique about playing for Coach Hughes.
Coach Hughes, he's really big on teamwork, and he likes to see what we need. You'll notice he changed practice, right? That's because he knows that we weren't performing to the best of our abilities. He's really good about pulling out people's strengths, and he's kind of imposed that on his coaching staff too, and he's given us a lot of options to be the best players that we can.
All right, so let's start getting into this a little bit. So, Coach, who are some of the guys, other than our guy Jack here, that you're really going to lean on this year? I know you're getting your quarterback back, and you've got some other senior leaders that were media day, but who are some guys that you're really going to lean on to make plays
getting
for
Jack's back at quarterback is huge for us. We didn't really have a backup quarterback last year, and John Barrett did a great job stepping in. But, man, he came in, and we didn't have him prepared. So, it was like, hey, John, go to quarterback. He's like, I've got to go. So, but John can do anything. But now we can put him somewhere else. And our O-line, D-line, I feel like is better and bigger and stronger. And most of these guys, almost everybody I've had that I'm counting on this year, Jack, Will Frank at linebacker, Caden Lee, our wide receiver DB, Jax. We got some young running backs that are really good. Our D-line with Kentrell and Wyatt outside, we're bigger and stronger, but they've been through the battles. So we've already been there. This is the team that went 4-7. It was just they weren't all there together. So, Jack was out. He had an injury. Will was out. Kentrell was out. Everybody I just named, we lost at some point last year. So the goal is to have them every week together this year. And then the sky's the limit because really, we have so many playmakers and so many guys that can do it. You'll see week to week, the stat line's going to look weird. It's going to be like, hey, this week Bryson Harrison ran for 300 yards. This week, Jax threw for 400 yards. This week, Caden Lee caught 200 yards and 4 touchdowns. You're not going to be able to. And if anybody says, well, I know how to stop them, I know what they're going to do, I'm not sure yet tonight what I'm going to do. So when I get there and get a feel, I'm one of those people that calls the game based on what I feel like is working. And we've got a good plan. I feel like our game plan's solid. They got to execute it. And if we don't, I'm one of those that goes into the battle with a lot of different options. So if option A don't work, we'll try option B. If that don't work, we'll move from there. East Hickman's going to prevent a challenge to us tonight. But I think if they play like they can, we're going to come out on top.
Jack, who maybe are some of the going to be the unsung heroes on this team? Some guys that stand out to you that maybe Coach didn't name?
So some of the guys that really stand out to me is our junior center, Evan. He's stepped up really. We had in Canones before, and we're sad to see him go, but Evan's really stepped into that role, and he's really playing well. Along with some of our other younger guys, he already said Bryson Harrison and Cantrell, but really, again, I'm seeing people like Julius. We got Josh Dawson playing D-end. His older brother was a senior with us a couple years ago. We're just seeing a lot of talent from a lot of different areas.
With us going platooning more this year, there's been more chances for people to step in and be those stars. So tonight, they get a chance to do it on the field. And us platooning was another thing that we thought maybe will prevent injuries. We've got about 4 to 5 people that have to go both ways. He's one of them. But we're trying to limit that. Even him, we're going to let him rest on one side of the ball every now and then to keep him fresh. And we're hoping that prevents it. But by platooning, the list of people that you're going to have to choose from, we'll probably play 30 to 35 people tonight. That's a lot of people for a 3A school to play. So I'm excited to see that when people get their opportunities, if they make the most of it.
So how does that differ from, say, maybe not last year's not the best example because you had all the injuries, but let's say 2 years ago, how many guys you had playing both ways?
Last year's a great example because we had 8 or 9 playing both ways, and when you got one of them hurt, you lost 2 players.
Oof, yeah.
So, because think about that. We lost my linebacker and my starting fullback. You're losing 2 every time you lose 1. And so as that happened, we started thinking, now, is it better to have this guy who's a 1A or this one coming over and playing? I'll give you a great example with us. Will Frank is a really all-state linebacker, senior year, had an injury at the end of the year last year, comes back. I could play him on offense at fullback, at tailback, at slot, but he is so valuable to that defense that I'm not doing that unless it's absolutely necessary. So we're going to try to keep those guys fresh. But platooning, the best thing about it for us and these young freshmen you were talking about is we've built depth. So we have way more depth. Last year, when we had to sub, it was the dropping off a cliff. This year, it's a bump, but it's not a cliff. So I think we can recover from an injury or two because football's going to have injuries.
No doubt. So we kind of alluded to it a little bit earlier. We talked about the path. So 3A has opened up a little bit. No more Alcoa, no more Pearl Cone, no more East Nashville. Again, it's something that you don't want to look too far ahead. But when you're kind of setting out your plan and your vision for the season, do you set a goal of like we want to be in the state championship game, or are you more of like we're just going to take it a day at a time here?
Well, our goal is always the state championship. It's on the wall in our locker room. And if we don't expect to get there, you can't obtain the goals along the way. I say it all the time, I failed every year, but I'm going to keep going for that goal because I do think it's attainable. So looking at our path right now, first we got to beat Camden, Sycamore, and all the teams in our region. Then we got to beat White House Heritage and Whites Creek and all the teams in the other region. And then you're looking at Westview and the Simpson kid. They are odds-on favorite to win the state championship. In 3A, the Simpson kid is special. Westview's really good. But that game would be on Thanksgiving. So if we get to that game, then we're playing with house money. That's the farthest a Fairview team's ever been. So for this team to go 4-7, I told them, I said, look, if you came back and you go to the 4th round and no team's ever done that, y'all are going to have the only losing record and you've been the furthest than anybody else. That's a pretty good put on your resume. So you talk about a comeback story and hey, we picked up the pieces and we fixed everything and got back. I think it would be it'd be made for a Lifetime movie. You can make that happen.
No doubt, and I will definitely be at that game.
Yeah,
for sure.
Okay.
All right. So let's talk about East Hickman a little bit. A year ago, you guys fell to them 41-35. On the Sports Connection show earlier this week with Tate Matthews, he talked about Jax McCoy, who got hurt, unfortunately, in that game, but evidently he was having a whale of a game before he went out. Obviously, a shootout. Is this game a little bit of payback for that, or is it just you want to get the first win of the season?
Well, what do you think, Jet?
I definitely think it's a payback game for us, and I definitely think those teams who beat us last year, we're going to be playing like we're coming straight out of a loss from last year.
So East Hickman's the closest school to our school. Highway
right over the border.
Highway 100, Williamson County connects to Hickman County, and we go. So we have a new trophy for this game, the Battle of Highway 100. And the winner's going to get to engrave the score on it and keep it for the year until next year. It's the first year we've done it. So there's a little extra oomph to this game. The East Hickman guys and the Fairview guys always talk to each other when they see each other. A lot of stuff on Twitter, a lot of stuff like you see with going on. And it's becoming one of those rivalries because, you know, before when East wasn't as competitive, it was still a close rivalry, but it didn't have the feel. Like now, it's a different East Hickman team. Coach Austin's done a good job. This team has some talent. So now it's a rivalry, and we want to get back on the right side of that. And it starts tonight. And I think this is going to be a big game for us, and I think we can finish business as long as the guys play like they can.
So as you're getting into your scouting, it's always a little different first game of the year. You probably have a few scrimmages to go off of. What do you think is different about this East Hickman team than a year ago?
Well, I think that they're running the same stuff. That's foot-to-foot, smash-mouth football. So they are doing the same things. It's just they lost a couple of key cogs that really helped them last year. And I'm hoping that the people we have now fill the gaps to stop them from doing that. If they have their way, if you talk about game planning, they're going to try to eat the clock, drive the ball down the field and score. We're going to score fast. We're going to be moving at a fast tempo. So you're going to see basically a opposite type of game planning. Slow the ball down, try to score, make them make mistakes. We're going to go fast, put the pressure on them with things like that. And I just feel like we're a little bit better than we were last year, and they're still really good. But I just feel like, Jax had thrown for 345 in 3 quarters. We were having our way. And that freak injury that he had, I feel like it let the air out of us a little bit. But this year, even, no matter what happens, I feel like our guys are focused in, and it starts with week 1. You have to win that game. I tell them all the time, to be 2-0, you got to be 1-0. You got to keep rolling what we're doing. So we'll see tonight.
So, Jack, without giving too much away, I mean, I don't think East Hickman is going to be tuning into the broadcast tonight right before the game. If they do, you're probably in really good shape. But what are some things that stick out about the game plan? Like, what are some key things you're going to be looking for based on how you've been prepared this week?
I think really this week we've really prepared on matching their physicality and matching the intensity that we know we could play at. So a lot of the defensive work we've been doing is definitely just hit them hard, hit their fullbacks, hit their guards, and go make the play. Don't let them just run it down our throats.
They have a couple of dogs. 18 is a dog, and then they have a couple others too that like to enforce their will. So we've worked all week with our guys, like Jack's one of ours, and some others about, hey, let's meet that. Let's play with that same mentality and physicality, and that evens the playing field. I feel like last year we got pushed around a little bit, and so they've got a chip on their shoulder, and they're saying, hey, we're not going to let them do that this year. So we'll see tonight if they can.
So, Coach, if you are going to analyze this game, what are 3 things that definitely have to go your way tonight in order to come out with the win?
The defense has to get them off the field. We have to be able to stop them from racking up over 400 yards of rushing offense, which is what they did last year. So we have to play better on that side. We've got to take care of the football. The old cliche, in the last 2 games, they've recovered 3 onside kicks against us. So that's 3 possessions they stole, and the games were still close. So one of those might have changed the outcome. When I look back at the game last year, I'm going to be, and this is the 3rd thing we have to do, is we have to make plays. You have to make tackles. It's a simple game. My line coach, Coach Jackson, says it all the time. It comes down to blocking and tackling. Since you were 5 years old, the team that blocks, the team that tackles is going to win the game. So if we can take care of those things, but when you go back and look at a loss that's 6 points or less, if you could change one of about 5 plays, it would change the outcome of the game. And last year we had those. When we went back on film, we said, if this wouldn't have happened, we would have won. If this wouldn't have happened, we'd have won. If we hadn't have fumbled here, we would have won. If they hadn't have got this onside kick. So we can keep going. We've got to take care of the football and do what we do, and we'll have a good chance of winning the game.
Jack, take me through what your your pregame routine is. Do you have any superstitions, or are you methodical in how you prepare? Is the same way every week? What does that look like?
So for my pregame ritual, I like to listen to the same playlist that I listen to every week before it. And I like to really just kind of meet with my teammates. We like to play cards before and just kind of like get in this, we're in the right mindset. We know we can win. Let's calm down now and let's ramp up the intensity later.
Like to play cards. It sounds like my kind of team right there. Anyway, what's on that playlist? Anything I would know?
I'm not sharing.
He's one of the ones that beats his head on the locker, so you can.
No doubt. So, all right. Well, tonight at Fairview, 7 o'clock kickoff against East Hickman. I was out at your facility earlier this week, kind of sitting down there, a little bit of a valley, beautiful field, beautiful school. You guys have done a great job with it. I know you guys are going to be ready to go, and I really look forward to following you guys this season. 7 o'clock kickoff tonight. That's going to conclude the Coach Show. Gentlemen, thanks a whole lot for being here. Appreciate your time today, and best of luck tonight and down the road.
Appreciate it, Patrick.
Thank you.